Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us. It's James here from Zen Systems, and today I want to give you a quick overview of some of the features and functionality of the 3CX web client. Let's take a look. Now the 3CX web client will work in either Google Chrome or Firefox, or anything that supports WebRTC, to be honest. It actually says down the bottom here, supported browsers Google Chrome. When you follow the link to your web client, this is the screen that you'll be presented with. At this point, you enter your extension number, followed by password, and click login. Now the first screen that you're presented with when you log into the web client is the people screen. And as you can see here, this shows currently a list of extensions in all groups, and I can segregate these out by favorites, default, Zen or Zen Systems. You can see the difference between Zen and Zen Systems. I've just got the three of us in here. Now what you can see currently is that Alistair here is on a call. You can see that because it's lit up with blue and it tells you the CLI that he's receiving or making a call to. You can see as well that his little dot by his picture here is yellow, which means that he's currently in a call. And then you can see that these green ones represent that these people are available to take calls. Now my own extension is listed in here, along with Adam's, Dean's, and one of our conference phones. So the options available to you when you click on an extension within the phone system are you can click on the call button, you can click on the video button, you can click on a chat button, you can very quickly launch a web meeting with that person, and you can click the star and add them to your favorites. The little three-dot burger menu type thing over here allows to show more options. So we've got intercom, you can send them an email as long as their email address is part of their profile. You can leave them a voicemail directly. You can call them mobile, assuming that their mobile phone number is added to their extension. You can set the status, you can set a reminder, you can delete a reminder, assign, or clear. Now, moving down the left-hand menu of the web client, we then have contacts. These are all the contacts within our phone system, and then we've got a way of separating them out into company phone contacts and then personal phone contacts. Essentially the difference there is that personal contacts are personal to your web client only, so your extension and those details will follow you around on your extension, but the company ones are part of the company phone book. As you can see here, it's very easy to add a number. You can click on the plus new contact. You pop in the first name, you pop in the last name. You can fill in other details like company, email, mobile, business, home fax, if anybody faxes anymore. And then you can save. And when you click save, you then have the option to add it to the company phone book. Or if you don't have the rights to edit the company phone book, it will just add it to your personal list. Next on the list down, we've got the chat function. Within here, you can see a list of existing or pre-existing chats on the left-hand side. If I was to click onto one of these, I could click onto this one. Any of these existing chats on the left-hand side, you can archive using this button here. So if I was to archive that one, that has now left the list of chats on the left-hand side. And you can see here that I can actually view archived chats in this separate menu. Now to actually start a chat, it's simply clicking on the compose chat button. You select the participants that you want to join a chat with. I'm going to type in Adam. Once I've done that, I can add another person, or I can just hit OK and start, and that will then open up the chat window. Now, because I've previously had a chat with Adam, this shows the history of that, and then I can start chatting away. Moving down, the next menu on the left is call history. Now call history is quite simple. It's been added by, you can have all calls, you can have incoming, outgoing, missed calls, and abandoned calls. Now abandoned calls are part of the pro system, and are to do with some of the conferencing features of the phone system. So you can see again here that I've got some red one here on the left hand side. It shows red, which is a missed call from Dean. I have an option here to call him back, or I can chat to him, or I can delete that notification. And it tells me simply that he called on the 23rd of August at 10:25. Going back to the abandoned ones, you can see here that these are effectively missed calls within a queue. You can see that there's a little alarm here that's saying this has not been dealt with. I can then click on that to say that I'm dealing with it. So effectively I've taken that missed call over. And once it's been dealt with, you can then tick the dealt button, which ultimately means that if other people are looking at the abandoned calls list, they know that they don't need to deal with that call anymore. Now on the right hand side, you can see again that I can call that number back. I can actually add that number very easily to the phone book, or I can delete this as a notification within the call history. Moving on to voicemails. Simply again, I have a list on the right hand side of all the voicemails. If they're in bold, it means that I've not listened to them. I can select them, I can delete them once they're selected, and I can mark as heard. I can also, on the right hand side here, I can download this as an audio file. I can play it, which will listen to it through the speaker. I can call them back, I can delete it, or I can add them again to the phone book. Scheduling a conference is super simple with the 3CX web client. You can see here that I've got one that's already been put in here. That's actually a past date of the 22nd of August. And you can see that was a video conference. If I want to create a new conference, I simply hit the plus button. I select whether I want it to be an audio or video conference, whether I want it to be now or later. If I select later, it then gives me the option to provide a date and a time and a duration for the conference. You simply type in the subject, a couple of notes to participants. That's quite neatly reminded me that I have not put in a subject. You can toggle announcements or not, and then you can choose which diary system you would like to send this from. So my default is Office 365. Once I hit create meeting, that will then launch Office 365 in my browser and then allow me to send out the meeting invite from there. And at that point, I can then add the participants that I want to. Another option is that you can actually do 3CX invites, which then allows you to add participants that are within the phone system. So that doesn't take you externally. It allows you to just add participants. So if I was to type Adam again, I could very quickly add Adam as a participant of the phone system. If I click on web meeting, it instantly launches the web meeting functionality. And you can very easily see here that I am in a web meeting environment. I've actually just toggled my camera off. You can toggle camera on and off. You can toggle audio on and off. I can actually select to record this meeting. I can share my screen with participants. I can share a PDF with somebody. I can go to a whiteboard scenario where I can draw on PDFs, etc., etc., or I can start a poll. Now, currently, when you hit web meeting, you're the only participant. And at this point, you can simply invite people by clicking on the invite people button. You can share the web link. You can add them by email. So name, then email, and hit add. And then previous participants are usually located down here, which means you can very quickly add or remove those. Alternatively, I can just copy the meeting link and then I can send it out via email. There's a settings button. And then just here, there's a little help button. And then this here allows me to maximize this into full screen mode. Once you've got other attendants, they will be listed here and you'll be able to change the status of their participation. So ultimately you could set them as a presenter, you can mute their microphone, and you can mute their videos. On the right hand side down here, we've got the meeting chat as well. So if we don't want everybody talking out loud on the meeting, you can very easily ask people to submit questions. You can ask them to raise their hand or react. You can upload a file to this meeting chat. And here is a simple toggle to for the chat and join notification sounds. And this is the send button for the chats. Now, you'll see these little blue arrows. This one here hides that menu away. And this one here hides that menu away. Moving on to the switchboard. The switchboard is a very useful tool. It quickly shows you any calls that might be on participation within the phone system. and it shows you a list of all the queues and the agents and who might be in which queue. You can see here that you've got Alistair, Adam, myself and Dean, and you can see that I am part of the reception queue, existing ticket queue, sales queue, managed wireless, new ticket, and 3CX sales. If I wanted to just go down to queue calls, I'd then be able to look at actual calls that are coming into those queues and not just any call within the phone system. And then I can also toggle the wallboard. Now, all three of these options allow me to expand these as independent windows, so I can very quickly open the wallboard up as something else. And if you have a monitor on a wall, or you have an additional screen, you can have that wallboard sitting there and showing you the statistics of the 3CX phone system. Now, moving further down the list of queues, you've got actually queues specifically. So we've got reception, escalated support, existing ticket, etc., etc. And also at the very bottom here, we've got reminders. When you look at an actual queue, you can see here the statistics at the bottom. You can see the caller, the callee, the time, and the details. So this would be an active call going on. And on the right hand side, you can see the list of agents within that given queue. You can see whether they're in the queue. So currently Alistair is logged out and Adam is logged in, as am I, as is Dean. You can see the statistics on when they logged in and when they logged out. If you have the rights as a user, you can or can't log people in and out of queues. The next one on the list is recordings. Basically, I have access to all recordings within the system, but typically users would see their recordings. And within here, these will show the call recordings that user has made within the phone system. And quite simply, you can download them and listen to them later. You can play them on your phone or on the client. You can call the person back, or you can delete the recording, assuming you have the rights to do so. We then have settings. These are categorized by general. You can personalize how the 3CX web client looks to you. You can edit your call forwarding. You can edit your greetings. That'd be voicemail greetings. You can manage integrations. You can scan the QR code, which allows you to very quickly provision your mobile phone and the app with the QR code, and these are effectively your extension details. And then you can manage your BLF settings. So BLF stands for busy lamp field. Essentially, these are the buttons on the side of a phone that you would normally set as speed dials. So just heading back up to general. Within the general information, you've got the information about the web client you're using, the language, your user information. You can change your photo within here. You can change chat settings. And then at the bottom here, we've got the ability to change the color of the 3CX web client. You've got the ability to add a headset integration. Currently, we have Sennheiser, Plantronics, and Jabra as options for that. Under Personalise, you can personalize your status view, so you can how you sort extensions. Group presence, you can add in here which groups you want to see within the people section. So currently I have default Zen and Zen Systems. If you have a bridged system, so another 3CX system that you are connected to, you have the option to add this in here. This one is currently toggled off. On the active call side of things, you can actually select the types of calls you want to see. So you can have ringing external calls, part calls, externally connected calls, internally connected calls, IVR calls, and queue calls, or you can show none of them. Queues, you can choose which queues are important to you, so you don't necessarily have to see all of the queues. And then on the wallboard, you can put custom messages, option messages, and then again, you can choose to show what statistics that wallboard is actually showing you and which queue they belong to. Under call forwarding, you can see that there are a number of statuses here that you can change. Now, the statuses are over here next to your photo. So you've got available, away, do not disturb, custom 1 and custom 2. And you have the ability to set a status temporarily. It's also very easy to edit how these operate by clicking in here. And that is editing your custom status message. So currently, my available status is any unanswered calls. The timeout is 25 seconds, goes to my voicemail for both external and internal calls. If the phone is busy or not registered, it is voicemail for external and internal calls. And under general options, I have the option to accept multiple calls. And if I want to, I can get this to ring my mobile phone as well as my extension, just in case I'm operating in an area that doesn't have particularly good data. I will get the call on my mobile phone. It's very easy to edit these. They're drop-down menus, so if I wanted to change where an unanswered call from an external caller went, I could then click to go to my extension number, go to my mobile number. I could choose an external number outside of the phone system. I could choose a system extension, which could be a queue or a ring group, or I could send a busy tone. And that's pretty much the same for all of these drop downs. The away status is slightly different. So when I'm set to away, currently forward internal calls to my mobile, you've got the option to rebound and an out of hours voicemail, and then forward external calls to my mobile with rebound. I can add use call deflection 302 or out of office hours voicemail. Now the rebound option is really, really useful. It essentially allows the phone system to announce who is calling your extension across to your mobile phone. You then have the option to return that call, or answer the call, should I say, or push it back to your voicemail, which gives you the option to answer the call or not. Do not disturb is very similar, and then you've got custom 1 and custom 2. You also have the ability to set exceptions. So if you didn't want a particular caller to go through any of those, you could have effectively a whitelist. The greeting side of thing is about the voicemail. So default voicemail I currently have set here, but I can set a custom greeting for the different statuses that I've set within the phone system. So I've got available status, away status, do not disturb, custom 1 and custom 2. And currently I have the default, which is my one up here. Also very easily, I can record a greeting within here. I can upload new greetings, download the current greeting, or play and listen to that greeting as it is. The integration menu, this allows you to effectively integrate certain pop-ups from CRMs. So I currently have this set to automatically open contact URL when CRM integration is enabled. What this means is that if a CLI of a phone number comes in and it's recognized by my CRM system, it will pop up the CRM record for that person. We've mentioned the QR code and the BLF settings are pretty self-explanatory. Now what's really useful about this is that when you set a BLF setting within here, this will also push through to any physical phones that you might have set up for your extension. And the last one is help, which will take you to the 3CX website, where there are some basic help guides on some of the users and features of the system. Just going to cover off a couple of things up here. So this one here allows you to minimize the menu. So you go from sort of a detailed list to just the icons. You are able to very quickly search for a user within here. So if I type James, this will list all the Jameses within the phone system, whether they be internal or external participants. Or I can start typing a number. So if I start typing 01473, that will bring up with anything with 0147 in it. The next button along is the dial pad. So again, you can very quickly dial a number within here. You can also copy and paste numbers into here, and then you can hit call. The queue status, so that would toggle me out of the queue. When it's blue, I'm logged into all queues. So it's important to note that when you do that, you're logging in or logging out of all the queues that you are a member of. Next one along, we have the web client. You can see here that this is effectively how you choose how this 3CX web client will make phone calls. If I click this, this now gives me the option to connect to or to utilize a Yealink phone, which I have attached to my extension. So any actions that I take within here, if I make any phone calls or anything like that, that will push them through the physical device, acting in tandem. Or, as it is at the moment, I can use it as a web client, which ultimately means that my browser is my soft phone. Lastly, if you click on your face or your icon, you've got a number of options here. You can see your extension number, you can change your password, you can change your profile image, resend your credentials to your email address, you can download the 3CX app, scan the QR code, you can download 3CX for iPhone, 3CX for Android, install 3CX, click to call, and then go straight to settings. And then lastly, on the bottom here is the exit client. Thanks so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and it enables you to get more from the 3CX platform. If there's anything else you'd like to know about 3CX, then please leave us a comment below. And maybe consider subscribing to the channel to stay up to date with more videos from us.